Okay, there we go. That's looking good. Hey, Chad, how's it going, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here.
How's it going, buddy?
Good, buddy.
Good to see you.
Me too.
How's the office?
You tell me. I don't know. It's kind of dark.
Yeah. Well, hey, Tatum, how are you?
All right, bye. See you, bye.
See ya. It's good to see them. Oh, man.
Pickups? Oh.
Too much fun. Too much fun.
That's where I had it. I'm clear back here, though. I'm way.
Wants to see your nostrils, okay?
Okay.
Oh yeah, I could push this.
I don't want it from the waist up shot though. I might as well stand up. Okay. All right.
Well, it's good to have you with me, buddy. I'm glad that you could join us today. We got 2 more panelists that should be jumping in here in just a minute.
Look at my lighting.
But for those of you that are joining in really quick, let me go ahead. I got to get the promotion stuff out of the way, homie,
Yeah.
So, but thanks for joining us today, guys. This is Karmic Transmission number 15. It's been a while now. I can't believe we've gotten to 15, it's pretty cool.
15 weeks?
Actually, we've been doing it every other week. So 15 of them puts us close to what, every 6 months or so?
Yeah.
You
do the math.
Something like that.
It's been a long day.
Right, one of the others will jump in and correct me on all this eventually, but I'm not going to worry about it till then. So, but you can find us, guys, if you're joining us and watching. You can find us at the Karmic Feed on Twitter. You can also find one of our hosts at Ayame X Goddess on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube under Karma Incarnate or Gaming Good Karma as well. And also go to karmaincarnate.com is where you're going to find our website with all of our details and information. Our special guest tonight, Chad Milton, a good friend of mine. We've worked together for a while now, but more than that, he's also started his own charity fundraiser program. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring you on today, Chad, was to talk a little bit about, your experience in all of that stuff. Here we go. We got another guy coming in. So thank you for joining us today. And with us, Clint, this is my older brother, Clint. I don't think you've had the pleasure of meeting him yet, Chad.
No, I haven't yet. What's up, Clint?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, bro.
Keep you guys on track because, we got Ute fans in this session, so we can't get too sidetracked with college football. I know that's what's on everybody's mind right now, but, there's
the lack of if you're a Ute fan.
So, and then our other person is my friend Ayame. She's our designer, person that does like all of our artwork, all this stuff is going to be joining us. So she'll be on here in a few minutes, but I'm excited to have you on, man. I've been really excited for this one.
Ooh, I'm pumped too. And there's a Star Wars picture back there. There's a Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I just recently was exposed to a friend of mine's collection. His mom is completely bizarro with Star Wars. And I have almost completed my Star Wars collection, Kenner, first year.
Right.
Of all the figurines. And I think she's going to make my collection complete. So
there's
a little random side note for today to start us out.
That's way cool. Well, Clint's got a couple of the Star Wars like Lego Millennium Falcons, don't you, Clint? Or is it just the one still?
Yeah, I had the first 3,000 piece collector's Millennium Falcon. And we bought a lot of the Lego toys and stuff when they first came out.
So.
And you got the Star Destroyer.
Mm-hmm. I need to get that one up. So.
We had Josh on here who had all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's got neat collections, we've come to find out. Like, we've got a guy that has a giant pop collection and stuff like that. It's collectors. They're what's in right now, I guess. The thing, So, but yeah, dude, that'll be cool though. I was always jealous of your lunch boxes that you had. Those are cool.
My lunchbox?
Yeah, your lunchbox.
Yeah. Yep. My mom did a good job, dude. She was a stellar garage sale and flea market enthusiast, and I got to be a part of that growing up. It was fun.
It definitely shows.
It actually was not fun, dude. Saturday mornings were horrible, dude. 6 o'clock in the morning or earlier. And she'd mapped out all the newspaper, we're dating ourselves, but like back in the day, like the newspaper was like it, as far as yard sales. Like people would plug themselves in the yard sale column or section of the newspaper. My mom would like that before circle them all out. And I was like her roadie, like her roadside assistant, hitting all these garage sales. And she was looking for particular things, right? And she was like a big figurine fan. She loved she's a doll collector. She's looking for like these she's looking for these very specific things. And at the moment I was just like tagged along to these miserable car rides, where there is no iPad or phone yet to keep you entertained. You're just like, how long is this going to go on until we're done? So it was merciless, but she also knew that the early bird got the worm. So she was so specific about getting out the door early so she could beat the rush
right
of garage sale enthusiasts. So anyway.
Well, dude, so Ayame, the person that's jumping on here, I remember growing up, they did a neighborhood yard sale, and it was like one Saturday out of the month in the summertime. Everybody in the block would set up tables, and you would just go house to house in a massive yard sale thing, and that was pretty crazy. And we would always go out looking for stuff because, well, it's kind of funny. One of the very first businesses that Ayame ever had was buying parts from like yard sales and stuff and selling robot kits for Mystery Science Theater 3000. So
oh my gosh,
all of the parts and then sell somebody kit and designs and say, this is how you assemble it to make the robot.
My God. I used to love that show. Do you know Comedy Central?
Yeah, the old Comedy Central, the sci-fi special. Dude,
I used to love that show, man. I used to watch that show all the time. That is hilarious.
Yeah, but that was one of the first businesses back junior high school times. It's kind of neat because one of the things that all of this stuff, like you with your charity and everything, is everybody's kind of an entrepreneur. Everybody has that spirit to want to go out and try their hand at business. And that's what makes this panel really neat, is everybody here kind of has that perspective too. Everywhere from buying and selling on eBay to, raising funds with golf charities and stuff. It's pretty incredible. Hey, Ame, how you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. Is your camera broken again?
It would seem so.
Oh,
I've actually got it hooked up this time, but it's not doing anything.
You got the lens flap closed on it?
Oh, the lens. Oh,
Yeah. The little lens cover, is that?
I had not. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, no.
No, now I'll close the lens. Oh, no, there it goes again. I don't know. It's just not working very well.
Huh. Interesting.
Sorry, I'll keep working on it.
Oh, you're all good. If you blink in and out, it's all right. We can still hear you. That's the important part too. So, well, I did the intro, so sorry, you can't critique me this time, Ayame. But
yes, I can. I just can't do it live.
Well, true. But with us, Chad Milton, good friend of mine. Chad, tell us a little bit about kind of how you got started with Hot Shot and everything like that, man.
So yeah, we're basically riding the wave, right, of doing good on this podcast. So that's awesome. So I'm in line with doing good, and I'm in line with karma, but I'm also in line with some of my passions. 5 years ago, or prior to that, I have to admit I like golf. I'm a golf enthusiast. The sport is incredibly, for me, it's a passion. It's also a curse, but I I get it if a lot of you are like, golf is miserable to watch and I hate the sport and what are we talking about golf for? But golf has given me a vehicle to do good. So that's why we're here, right? So no matter what no matter what your vehicle is or your platform, if it gives you an opportunity to give back and make a difference, and that's all that's important. But mine just happened to be a sport that I really liked. And I also realized that the golf community has an excellent opportunity for people who are, I think, an affluent audience, perhaps, maybe some people that are, golfing has some advantages, I guess, if you want to think about it that way, as far as like the audience that captivates golfing. It's people who typically have a little bit more of that income possibilities, and also influence in their communities, influence maybe in their careers. Just comes with the territory, because golf, unfortunately, is very expensive. So I would love to play more than I do, but that's just not the point. I can't afford it. 5 years ago, I was a hacker, and I'm still a hacker golfist, but I was in the presence of a best friend of mine, and we've been talking about doing something like a golf tournament charity for a while. And we've been putting together these like yearly fun get-togethers where we just all go out and get drunk and play golf and have a good time. And it was
golf, man. My kind of golf.
It was a small audience, but it's a great time to get together, go out, have some beers, take the 4 hours to 5 hours it takes to play a whole round, and use that as an excuse to just have a fun time and get together with friends. And we quickly learned that, like, if we just wanted to tweak this a little bit, with a little bit of, obviously a lot of work, but we could probably figure out how to choose first a cause, and then put all of our interests and networks together and figure out how to make money at this thing where we can give it away. And that was it. I mean, it's been a 5-year adventure. Every year it gets bigger and better. The tournament's called the Hot Shot Tournament. We pick a local charity here in Salt Lake that we love and are passionate about. And that's how it grew, Jake. I don't know what else to say. I'm spinning wheels.
It was such a neat thing, because I remember when you very first started it, and it was just like an idea that you guys had. You and a couple of buddies were just talking about wanting to help, and it was right after, because Rex and I have done a lot of work with like the Shriners and stuff like that, and the Shriners do a golf charity event every year.
Oh yeah. I've actually played in theirs. Yeah.
And that's kind of the first place that you and I remember we started talking about it, and you had mentioned playing in that tournament before, wanting to do something yourself, and then we just kind of started ping ponging. And to me, it was always such a great one, because like you said, in whatever it is that you want to do, if you can inject your passion, it's going to make you want to go that much further with it.
Yeah, or you'll quit.
Yeah, exactly. And we've always talked about with Karma, one of the things that we don't care what it is, but so long as people are doing something, we're all about it. That's what we want to see happen, because it's the action behind it that matters. And it doesn't matter, like you said, what your vehicle is. Whatever it is, so long as you're acting and trying to do good with it, that's what we want to see. We're just lucky if people want to come and do it with us as well. That's where it gets really cool, is like you said, bringing in collaboration and more people to that equation to help get the work done. I mean, I remember coming and hanging banners with you at your very first call. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun that day, because I went from delivering food at the food bank for Karma to helping you out and manning the hole-in-one for the car. So that was a lot of fun that day. Busy.
Yeah, and I think that the beautiful part about doing your first event, and you probably look back at your own first event and the same lenses that I'm wearing right now, and say, you don't know what you don't know yet. And so you're so naive that, like, pulling it off is just like, your bar is so low. It's so cool in your first time doing something, that your bar is so low that, like, if you just do it, you're like, we just did it, and we're so amazing. And that is truly the gift, the benefit, I think, and the joy of being an entrepreneur and starting your first thing. Is you finally you get to pull it off. But then, like, you and I are the same cut from the same cloth. We are like perfectionists, and we like, okay, that was fun, and now the bar is now there, so
Yep.
it's now
How do I
have to
better?
raise, and they're
What's
to
the
raise
next
it.
one?
It's gonna have to raise every year. Yeah, and that is gonna be the commitment that I make to myself and my cause for sure.
Yeah.
Is that we get bigger and we do more with what we've got.
Well, and you've done a good job growing it, man. It's been more and more impressive every year that you guys have done it. In the last couple of years, working with that, what was it, Miracles and Mascots or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
always, that seemed like a really good, solid one for you guys to help out with. So
Yeah, we found a phenomenal local group that is still young and hasn't. I mean, obviously, there are about 1,000. There's about 1,000 families in their foundation to date. That's a lot of families with kids who have severe disabilities or illnesses that are facing, I mean, ridiculous, I mean, insurmountable, just
yeah.
terrible situations, and they need excuses to have fun. And so the charity I picked was something that gave kids that excuse to, or that ability to go out and celebrate with other kids like themselves, and forget for the moment that they don't have, that they have those issues, and they can kind of relate to other kids with those same issues, and just kind of make smiles versus tears and sadness. And they really like this charity, and I'm on board. I think it's a great cause. So I like how grassroots it is still. I like the fact that it's really, I mean, everything they do is for the cause. Literally, like, they maybe have 10% that goes back to the operational expenses. And so I like the fact that they have such a just a big heart for what they do. And there's, that's it.
It's a cool one. It's a really cool one. So, but one of the things that I was kind of curious, talking about first events, right?
Yeah.
And looking back on the first time doing stuff, what are the things that have been like the biggest takeaway for you in some of those, like areas where you've noticed like immediately what you would do different to get better? And how is that, giving yourself that year of prep time and planning with how you've done it, does it make it easier, or does it make it harder?
I think first thing you've got to have is you got to have more than just luck, with timing. What's that phrase? Luck is just when preparation meets opportunity.
Oh,
they say.
I haven't heard that one in a while, but it sounds about right.
If it isn't one, I mean, I'm sure it will be by the end of this.
Yeah, we can make it one. Don't worry.
I think going in, it really helps to have somewhat of some business experience, just something that has taught you a little bit about how to operate something, from, I think blindly going into something without someone assisting you, right, has maybe some more experience, is greatly going to benefit you from the learning curve that you're going to face if you just do it by yourself. And I thankfully had a little bit of that going in. So I knew what I was up against, and I had kind of my own internal process for understanding project management. And that was the biggest takeaway with me. I didn't understand anything. I thought what I understood. I didn't know tournaments. I didn't know, like, I love the sport, but there's that investment you have to make into researching something that there is no alternative. You have to figure that out yourself and do the deep dive and the dig, and have the passion to explore it. Take the time to open that box up and figure out all the moving pieces and understand, like, Google's right there at your fingertips. You know what I mean? Like, you have to take advantage of the tools you have available to just research and figure that out. And even though I thought I knew a little bit about business and how to kind of take a project from start to finish, an unknown beast like a golf tournament, like, what? There's so many pieces there. And so I think that for me, the biggest takeaway from year 1 to 2 was, like, that's incredible. Okay, so I'm really just kind of wandering, but I think the biggest answer to your question is, like, take the first experience, no matter how scary it looks, and do it. Because you've got to start with phase 1. You got to do it something rather than nothing. And then you have all that learning to do later. But without the first mistakes, you can't make the corrections. You can't learn and get better.
Right.
And that's what you do. Yeah, that's how you refine your tool every year. Like, every time I do this, that's why it gets better, because I take collective notes and I think about how am I gonna make this better next year, and raise that fund bar to get bigger and more people.
Right.
That's where the passion comes in too, because if you're not starting from a place that you love, then A, it can be really discouraging when you hit those roadblocks, but B, you're not going to want to invest the time to learn it and to improve every year, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Because it's cool, man. So going that first year to second year, what do you think was the biggest learning curve that you had in making that event happen again? Was it your timing? Was it your deliverability? Where did you find your biggest gap that you wanted to improve on that first year?
Player experience, customer experience.
Yeah.
CX, right? All I saw were opportunities to inject a little more customer experience, where the people that were involved playing in the tournament and participating had a little bit more fun and then felt the passion as well. And we gave more experiences to be influenced by the cause that we had brought in. So yeah, that's always been a deep passion. Jake, you know that about me. I have a deep place in my heart for CX and product experience, customer experience. Making that ultimate top of mind was my next to do after just getting it done and not having it flop. That was it. So,
well, dude, it's interesting because that, in thinking about it, that was really the same process that we took in everything.
Yeah.
When we were very first doing carbon, if you go back and look at the very first pictures where it's just Rex with a little pile of food, just himself, you know what I mean? Or when we were, believe it or not, before we came up with the stickers, we go out and label all the food and all that stuff, which is something that I still want to get you and Kenny to come out to once all this COVID stuff clears out and we can do it again. But like you were saying, the first thing that we started looking at was, how do you start getting people to have hands on it? How do you start building that CX, that customer experience, to where they're feeling more a part of it and more involved? Because dude, that really is kind of the big one, And our answer was, well, let's try to get people out here every month. Let's host a sticker event. Let's do these things. And the biggest thing that I can think about is really it comes down to scale. It took us a couple of months to figure that one out. And you started day one, I want to do a golf charity. So it's like immediate user experience and people brought into it, where we kind of grew and paced into how we could do it to where we deliver it, once a month, trying to get that event out there and people involved in ways for them to get hands on it. Because that user experience is huge. It's one of the biggest things in the world, really, when it comes down to it, So,
yeah, because you feel like you identify with people's free time, and they have a choice. They can make that choice, and you are competing a lot with people's interests. And if golf is one of their interests, that's great. But I also have to make sure that this is something that they feel like spending money on versus something else they can spend money on. So yeah, it's a process to make sure that you surface that motivational factor the best way possible, front and center, like Karma's done very well, and that will drive their participation. And the more you can drive that surface that motivation, the better you are at surfacing that motivation, the better you'll be and more successful you'll be. And that's all I got to think about is that customer experience. Put yourself in their shoes. What's going to motivate me? You're a prime example of the person you want to participate.
Yeah. And
just keep yourself in that thought process.
That's a good way of putting it. That's a real good way of putting it. So.
And there is no other secret. There's no secret sauce. It's just a constant reminder to be in a customer's shoes and what would you want to have happen, and that's it. And if you can align yourself with a golf person, because I'm one of those, so be authentic. Be authentic.
Authentic. That's a big
authenticity.
One. That's a real big one. Sorry, 1 second. I'm getting some feedback over here that's throwing me off just a touch. Sorry. So
Gotta mute your microphone, maybe.
it's coming from the other room.
Oh God, that's not interference. That's just Rex shouting desperately into the ether to try and get your attention.
Nah. No, I was hearing our conversation coming from the room. So it's like, I think somebody had speakers on because they were away from it. It was just a little too much.
Someone.
Yes, someone. Don't worry, he's still hiding from Kenny Loggins. That's the whole thing that's happening. So
Can the Utes tackle COVID? That's a good question.
Evidently, the answer to that is no, because the numbers keep going up every weekend. So,
oh my gosh,
I'm going to definitively say no on that one.
Yeah.
You know, I did hear that they're allowing for practices, though. They just have to get like tested every day or something like that.
Well, yeah, but they were supposed to play this past weekend.
They were supposed to play Arizona State and then Arizona, I believe. Right?
No, almost like over half of the team tested positive, and then there was like a possibility that they were going to be able to play with like some of the reserve guys, I guess, but that didn't end up happening either. But the Masters still happened, as long as we're talking about golf. So
there's two sports that have been able to figure it out, and that's golf and the NBA. There's two classes that have both figured out. But yeah, Utah missed an opportunity to open the season with Arizona, and then they missed the last opportunity to play UCLA on the road. And the next game is here against USC this Saturday.
And they're already out of the championship by default, right?
I mean, yeah, they're just, what are you playing for? I think we should just, to be honest, I'm the biggest Ute fan I know out of all my friends. And I think we should just I think we cancel it and just call it a wash, because every week is just another grueling process to let us all down. So we just need to walk away from this at this point. It just makes me upset. Every Friday I get the notification like game canceled. I'm like, then what am I living for? Just kidding.
Well, yeah, kidding, not kidding though. Like you're definitely not the only one in that boat.
Don't get my hopes up. Just call it off. Like, don't do this is misery every week to be like, you know what? We got a chance. And then it'd be like, no, you don't. No, you don't.
So
imagine that
my big question,
of life. Imagine like someone like telling you every week, like, you know what, maybe this week we'll go get some ice cream. Like you're 5 years old every Friday night. No, you can't. No, you can't. Like I wouldn't torture my own child with that shit. Ridiculous.
But here's the bigger question though, is like, even though Utah can't play, is it worse that BYU keeps playing and also is doing phenomenally?
So worse. So worse.
I think it's kind of funny.
I couldn't help bringing it up. I'm sorry.
I think it's kind of funny. They maybe have a team that could beat us after 9 years of losing,
but we can't play.
but it's a weird COVID year, and it's kind of really too bad for BYU actually, because
they can't prove it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. That's a good call out. Nice call out.
Oh God, yeah. I live with people that are very upset about the constant, shall we say, just teasing of the games are happening now. They're not happening now. The games are happening now. They're not happening. So you're definitely not the only one.
Does your dad still get season tickets, Ayame?
Oh God, no. No. I mean, they're ridiculously expensive, and I mean, he doesn't tailgate anymore. So. And if you're not tailgating, I mean, that's like 85% of the reason why you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you and Lee still get tickets, Clint?
Well, yeah, up until this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, we've been going to all the home games. I only missed a handful of home games since '89.
Nice.
Which I think is when Ron McBride started.
It's been a long time.
God, that has been a long time. Just thinking about, I feel like I was in junior high, like elementary school when McBride was around.
High school.
He split with Lavelle really in the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
So McBride was the first big step into getting us like into the Pac-12, and it was McBride followed by Urban Meyer and that wild ride. So it's been a fun program to watch grow the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah. My experience at University of Utah, I went to school there, and that was me riding the Urban Meyer high. That was fun.
Dude, his years were a lot of fun.
Gold
I
medals.
remember the last Utah BYU game when they were in the same conference. I think it was you got sick, Clint, and gave me your ticket, and I went with Lee to that game. That was a freaking awesome game.
Oh, I was there. We rushed the field.
That was a way good game.
Good game.
So
Yeah.
right before Utah went Pac-12. So
anyway,
I know.
That's crazy.
it's such a crazy thing to think about. Just college football can connect so many people.
yes, we could call this like a talk radio sports show, but otherwise.
Well, and it also goes in to show you just that passion is in everything, because in all reality, there's nothing stopping people from having a charity football game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because thinking of it, East West High School does a charity football game in conjunction with the Shriners every year as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's the Shriners sell tickets and promote it for them, and then they get a cut of all the proceeds at the gate to go to the hospital and stuff like that. So it's literally anything that you can think of to put your passion into, you can do something to help people.
Right.
It all it takes is a little bit of investment and some creative thinking. That's one of the cool things. Every time I get to do one of these podcasts or one of these little karmic transmissions, I love sitting here and thinking of the creativity and ingenuity that every person has that comes on, because it's so cool. From, we've had people that love ultimate frisbee. And so it's like, guys, start an ultimate frisbee league and start working on, earning and building donations that way to help out any cause that you want and build your league around helping. If you do something like that, there's all kinds of ways that you can just help anything that you want to help with. So, because
I think one of the real treats for me is, I'm a fundraising vehicle for a nonprofit that I'm passionate about, and what keeps that fire lit for me is the fact that I can go participate in those events that I am actually helping fund.
Yeah.
And I know that is that really is why I love doing what I do for this particular nonprofit, is because they have about 12, other than this year because of the crazy, but they have about 12 calendar events every year that basically call all their kids out, all their families, and they literally are an event planning company. Really, like they're an event planning fundraiser, like that, the nonprofit, I guess. They just want to put things together to make their children and all the kids and their families come out and celebrate life and happiness and smiles and forget about the crap. And so being a part of that allows me to be a volunteer. I can come out and volunteer for all the events, participate in that side of things. I can look those kids right in the face, and that despite the work that I know this January is going to, well, hopefully, I know the golf tournament will hopefully happen right next year. I didn't think it would happen this year, but yeah, it did. So I have to believe it's going to happen next year. This year was very doubtful that it did, but that is what gives me the power and the strength to look forward and be, this is fun. This is what I'm doing this for, more or less. So
right,
being able to see it in real life. My tournament isn't one of those events where all the kids show up. The families aren't out there hitting golf balls. This is more of those. This is a vehicle that actually creates funds for the foundation as a whole. We do have them come out though a lot as far as the kids, and make sure they interact with the players, and that the players can see firsthand.
Well, that's the hard stuff. That's the stuff that this year really threw off, is and all the other things where they could meet and greet with kids, right? Those little events, because that was I remember talking to you about this year, and one of the big concerns, like you said, was all of those other little things, the customer experience side of things that you can't really do with social distancing and everything
Oh
else.
yeah, for sure.
It immediately made me think of kind of what we've had to do with shutting down and making it so that everything that we do is very isolated, but it's that ability to still deliver, and that's one thing where I was actually when I was thinking about your golf tournament, it's like, man, it's such a weird one that a lot of these events and fundraisers that do require group participation can be held in such um, uh, uh, constraints by social and economic constraints. You know what I mean? Because you can't. It's hard to have a tournament when you can't have more than 4 people together at a time. You know what I mean? It's all of those things. When something like this happens, it's such a weird one, and yet we had that ability to just kind of scale down and be like, oh, okay, we do this, and everything just keeps running. And it's an interesting idea behind the flexibility of smaller versus larger events and how you can approach things.
And it's one, I mean, that's one of the things that really, I mean, it shows you what kind of businesses and nonprofit stuff can really pull through something like this. Is it's that ability to pivot and kind of change your direction and on the fly figure out how to adapt those events and those things to still give people that user experience, because that's really what it comes down to. Is it's the user experience doesn't necessarily have to vanish. It just has to change a lot right now. And if you can still deliver that, I mean, that's one of the best assets you can have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's an excellent point.
And that's an excellent point. You have no problems next year to worry about, buddy. You'll just have to consider whether or not you got to have a hot shot golf mask that you're going to give out for them.
Well, don't say that. 2020 isn't over yet. There's still plenty of time for it to throw some more curveballs at us.
Oh boy.
Well,
I don't know. We've had earthquakes and everything else. What more could they throw at us?
You know what? I don't even want to think about it, because it could be anything. Literally, all the gloves are off now. There are plenty of cards still in the deck.
Well, you got to be more.
I was trying to think of a good Magic analogy for that, but I was trying to say Crimson Hellkite and it wasn't coming out. So I never forget about that. But it could happen though.
It'd be more like if I had to dig, it's more like a Megrim is what it would be.
What's a Megrim?
It's well, okay, Chad. So we're all geeks, a lot geekier than you on this.
Yeah, I got some geek in me. For
yeah,
sure.
well,
What's up?
So we all played Magic the Gathering a lot growing up.
I didn't get that geeky. So.
Yeah. Clint and I have
one level below.
I've got a whole section over here, just out of arm's length. It's just cards stacked yay deep. Okay. But it's a card that is really good at just messing with people. Is really what Megrim does, because it lets somebody kind of look at your hand and then throw stuff away and mess with the way that you play the game. Is what it does.
Kind of smells like Smeagol a little bit, like Megrim.
Yeah,
Smeagol card.
So Clint has a ruthless just deck built entirely around that card and a couple of others. It's a pretty brutal combo deck. But that's basically what 2020 is what Ayama's getting at. It's a really
I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it.
Super chaotic Magic the Gathering deck. We're kind of all over the map tonight. We've gone from golf to football to Magic. I mean,
true. It's true. Star Wars. We touched on Star Wars. I think that was right before you got here.
I don't think I was here for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What were we talking about with Star Wars?
Just pictures, Chad.
Oh, okay.
The Vaders, and then we were talking about Clint and Falcon that he made out of Legos and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Cool stuff.
And you said
identified
you got
with
almost all the action figures, Chad?
Yes, identified because my this actually goes full circle. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
The garage sales my mom and I would go on were for the Star Wars collection purpose as well. So that's why.
That's how you have a set of Kenner action figures. Is your mom collecting?
Yeah, I'm like short 20 action figures from a complete set of like 100, or is it 98 of the first Star Wars series?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's cool.
right there.
That's awesome. I know you. I heard you guys talking a little bit about my excursions to the thrift store, but yeah, I appreciate. I definitely appreciate
Excursions in the
that.
thrift store.
In the thrift store.
Clint,
Excursions?
miracle ear.
Oh my gosh.
Excursions? Is that a
Excur-
bodily?
excursions. I
Oh,
believe you're thinking of.
excursions.
I believe you're thinking of
Excursions.
excretions.
I was.
Oh my gosh.
I've got you know what? I could give you a story on that one too, but I'm going to hold off on that one. No, but like because that was something we used to do. It's like we used to go, me and my family, we used to go to all the different DIs all over the valley and try and find, parts and components and shit. So I get you. It's going to garage sales, looking for stuff, finding those treasures is pretty cool.
Toys were so cool in the 80s. I had like a ton of G.I. Joe stuff. I wish I would have saved. Because they were slick, man. And the early Transformers, like Pop Metal, they were cool.
I just liked how all the G.I. Joes were held together with rubber bands. Or maybe that was just the one I had. I went into a Kmart. I went into a Kmart once, and they were giving out a G.I. Joe action figure at the door. It was just like a generic, like, Cobra soldier. Was that the bad guys? Was the Cobra commander?
Yeah,
right?
Cobra.
And I remember like all of his limbs were held on with elastics, like internal elastics.
Well,
was
no,
that just that one? Or
they got a black rubber band where their pelvis is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they can rotate.
Twist them at the waist. And
rotate.
So okay, so it may have been like not a G.I. Joe. It may have been more like G.I. Joe with like an umlaut over the O.
It was the G.I.
right.
The
like
edition.
The knockoff G.I. Joe. G.I. Giuseppe.
I always wanted to find the G.I. Jose, but they
Jose?
If you could, and if there was going to find one, it was going to be somewhere here in Utah. I guarantee you that.
It's absolutely true. You can find it here in Utah at a garage sale. Probably in your neighborhood, Ame.
Maybe. Our yard sale, it's still going on, by the way. I heard you talking about that too. It is still going on. It didn't happen this year, obviously.
Right.
But they still do it.
Well, I'm still waiting for the day when we set up another Karma booth at the garage sale to talk to people, because that was a lot of fun that one time.
I was going to do it this year, but like I said, they didn't have it. And it was up to the wire too. They were saying they were going to do it until literally the day before. Going back to that whole teasing you about it, and then at the last second pulling the rug out from under you.
Yeah, no kidding.
They kept saying they were going to do it, and then like the day before, it's like, nope, canceled.
It's too bad. It's really too bad.
All right. The audience on this podcast is super keen to this show I'm about to show you.
Okay.
You've got to watch, if you haven't yet, The Toys That Made Us.
Yep. That is a good one.
On Netflix.
That
is the one.
I saw the first 8 of them or something.
Yeah, the first 8.
Dude.
Yeah, they're beautiful, man. That's legit.
It's
nostalgic. It's great.
Have you watched the movies that made us on Netflix?
Made Us?
Yeah, the movies that made us. Same kind of series, but instead of toys, they talk about movies, and they go into like the backstory. Dirty Dancing.
Yes, Dirty Dancing. It's a great one. Great one.
Yeah. I got to give Netflix. They definitely stepped it up on a few of those documentaries.
For sure.
They've got some really good stuff in there, especially for people our age. It's like when VH1 used to do those I Love the 80s. You get in your
yes. Dude, that stuff is like deep ingrained in our DNA. Like it's like our messenger RNA like went along and like transcribed that fun toy stuff in our psyche, and like we're all breathing a history of our makeup, and we want to like live it all the time.
There was just enough of where toy companies didn't have to worry about the kids, so the toys were like really fun without being overly cautious, right? Compared to the toys that you have now.
See, I don't know. I gotta say, I think most of the reason is because basically every cartoon show we grew up was just a 30-minute toy commercial. And so we have like much stronger attachment to toys than we might. Because what do you think about? It's like you think about He-Man or Teddy Ruxpin or, I mean, not necessarily like the Disney shows, but most of those things are, it's like, oh yeah, what is this? It's like, oh, well, we can get toys for that. Like the Turtles have a blimp now, and you can buy that at the store today if you want to.
Agreed. The late 80s, early 90s, it was all about the toy sales. You could see it in what they pushed, because He-Man is like the quintessential toy turned cartoon movie, right? Like nothing existed about He-Man, and then one day there's action figures, and then everything after that like just happened.
Well,
So,
He-Man, Transformers, I mean, yeah, all that stuff. Like basically every Saturday morning cartoon show.
Although Disney did have gummy bears, and that one was all about candy. So
did Gummy Bears even have a toy line?
No, it was all about the gummy berry juice. It was all about selling.
But they didn't sell it. That was back before Eisner was in charge. If Gummy Bears came out today, you better believe that would be in every damn store.
It'd be a movie first. It'd be a movie first or a show first.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be you
gotta build a user base. You
gotta get back into that user experience. How do the kids interact with cartoons today? It's like you gotta have the app, you gotta have the toy, you gotta have the tie-in video game, and then you come out with the product. And if the product is kind of crappy, it won't matter because they still are going to be all up on the app.
Hey, Jake, is this the vein or direction you thought this would go today, or is this kind of like?
I never plan on directing, man. I just let it all happen, because in the end it's about having fun for an hour and talking with interesting people. If we can put on some fun topics and talk about other things that drive us even better, but I'll talk.
They all kind of seem to end this way, really. I do have a question though, because I think I missed the beginning where you were introducing your business, Chad. So I guess my question is so your first year when you first did your tournament, what were your expectations for that? Because I obviously am not a huge golf player myself, but I know a lot about golf, and I can't even imagine the logistics of setting up a tournament. What did you go into that?
I do want to throw in one thing here though, Ayame, just because I remember talking with your dad when we were kids, and your dad was always trying to convince us that we needed to learn to play golf because that's where business gets done. That was all through junior high and stuff like that. I remember your dad always telling us, and we never really bought it. So it is an interesting question, just the time.
I will really quick. I will say that it's not that I didn't buy it. It's just that I took golf lessons, and on the first hole, I shot a 15, and it was a par 2. So it wasn't that I didn't believe him. I just am really awful at golf, and so.
Sorry.
But,
all right.
Hey, you know what? The whole rest of the team that I was playing with, my whole group that I was playing with had that exact same reaction, except there was a lot more pointing.
No.
And we were kids, so there was no drinking either. So
I just don't. I don't know how good I feel about correcting the fact there's no part 2 in golf. Is it?
Okay, well, it was a 3 then. I mean, what's the first hole? What's the first hole over at Murray Parkway? It's a par 3, right?
The Murray Park is a par 4.
Is it a par 4 really? Okay, well, I feel a little bit better about it because it was that first hole, and I swear to God, it was everybody else did it immaculately except me. So.
But there's no holes less than 3 strokes, so it's always a par 3 or more. Okay.
Gotcha, okay.
That doesn't even matter. The point of your story is still amazing. I love it. But yeah, I think that I had the same thing, but I heard it much later in life, which sucks because I wish I would have started earlier. Every golfer probably says that likes golf. Oh, why did my parents teach me at 12? And they always stomp their feet while they're just missing a putt. They say that.
I do hear that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. To answer your question, I think that I had stated earlier that the first, this wasn't my day job. This was this is a hobby and this is something I want to do on the side, and something that that first year at least, I was incredibly enthusiastic. I just wanted something. Okay, here's the truth. Truth out. I just wanted something that my friends would come to and have fun at and believe in me. Like buy-in was so important. Like to be the popular kid, to have something happen that they would come to. Just being honest. Okay. That's what I was. This was the first year that's what it was all about. Yes, I wanted to have something that would make an impact, and I believed in the cause. And I was like, yes, if we raise money, that will be great. But more than anything, I'm like, I just want something that people will want to come do. You know, just come believe in my vision, believe in my passion, like align with me. You know, isn't that what we're all about? Like we want to have something that people align with, and that belief system that just kind of we're born with. That's kind of that's where I was at. I was like, look, I've got a lot of friends who like to golf, and you know, it'd be cool. It's like throwing a party. When you throw a party, don't you want people to show up?
Yeah.
Isn't that the biggest worry? Your biggest worry is like, will people come to this thing or not? And that's kind of where I was at my first year. I was like, this is kind of where I'm at. I might want to throw something for the first time, and hopefully they think it's cool enough. But it doesn't have to be cool. It has to be something that does good. But at the same time, they don't know my true passion, which is I'm trying to translate that. I'm trying to twist that like believe in me, because you got to believe in me. Like a Jake, I believe in Jake, and that's why I'll go with Jake for anything. And then Jake's passion's got to twist me around, be like, and now I'm in line with that, you know? So this is where I was at. Can people come out and just come with me to have a good time? And then can I twist them into a passion I'm caring about, that I care about? And then we all win, right? That was
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it's that idea of let's go together, right? You know, you can always, there's that old saying of if you want to go far, or if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, we go together, right? And it's that idea right there is, you know, the more people that you have, if you can surround yourself with friends and loved ones and people that enjoy doing it with you, it makes it all the more meaningful, right? And it means that impact can be felt that much further, and that much, and that many more people can participate. And in the end, you know, life is a participation sport. And that's what everybody wants to do to live, is they just want to participate. So let's find fun, engaging ways to get people to participate in things that we're passionate about, you know. And with you, that was golf, and then it's let's take golf and make it something a little bit more. And it's incredible when you can get those two aligned, you know. So
and I will say that we twist that like passion with fun in a way that's like not traditional golf and like stuffy, like I'm a golfer and I don't talk on the course, and we just kind of hush hush hush, and we go balls to the walls.
You're more like a Rodney Dangerfield on Caddyshack, right?
Yeah, dude. Yes, that's who we are, man. Yeah, there are jealous shots on the holes, man. There's a good time happening the time we're out there. I mean, that's what it's all about. So we have a Rudy Tootin' good time. Rowdy Piper.
Makes me wish I played more golf, to be honest with you. I haven't swung the wrenches in way too long.
You know, I kind of feel like this sounds like the sort of tournament though that you could kind of find your stride in, you know. 6 or 7 holes in, you finally start to kind of get the rhythm.
My group's gonna have to get used to just telling me to pick it up. You know, I'm sure that would probably be a bigger part of it.
Eventually you do get used to hearing people like, you know, come up behind you and pat you on the shoulder and go, look, just take a 15. It's really okay.
Yeah, just
it's like we'll give you a couple on the next hole. It'll be fine.
There's etiquette on the golf course. There's pace of play is actually a thing. Like it's a thing. Like they want you to keep everybody up and keep holding people up. So yeah, if you're putting for more than 3 over, you know, triple bogey, you got to pick that up and just move along.
Yeah,
move along.
I think my good day is a triple bogey golfer. Like that's a good day for me.
You know what? I don't know. I think I would have to say I've seen you putt many times at the putt range, and that part I think you'd be good at. I'm good at putting. I can handle that. When that little windmill is going,
Just
like I can shoot right between those.
You can ask Andy. We were playing the McRiley. I'm sure you're familiar with McRiley, Chad. They've got that par 3 on their back 9 or whatever it is.
I can like throw a stone to that course where I live. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's over by your new place, huh? But yeah, I was playing that one day with Andy. And geez, it feels like it's been 15 or more years ago now. But I remember on like the 3rd hole, right off the tee, I was like 3 feet from the pin, and it still took me 10 shots to get that thing in. It was horrible. It was just awful.
I'm beginning to think that maybe we're not going to get an invitation to this golf tournament if we keep going this way.
We're not going to be the people leaving with prizes. We're like the best people to show up to these kinds of tournaments.
As long as I go last and maybe only drive the golf cart.
You're not allowed to drive the golf cart, Ayame. I'm forbidding
So
that.
this is the last place trophy we got going on last time.
Oh my God, I love that.
That's awesome. See, I would have that like right here on the next Karmic Cat or
And this wasn't my trophy, it was my wife's. So
oh, I'm gonna have to keep it now.
Which meant even much more gratifying by myself to be showing that. Don't tell her I showed you that picture.
Okay.
Don't worry, it's hidden on the internet. No one will ever see it again. Did you ever?
It's out in the cloud.
Yeah, it's on the cloud. It's on iTunes. It's on SoundCloud. No one will see it. Did you ever see that golf trophy that my dad did for their tournament every once in a while? It used to be displayed at our house periodically whenever they would lose. It's like this. It's like a hand flipping the bird with a golf glove on it, and that was their last place trophy for many years.
Nice. Oh man. Golf talk.
All the last place trophies around here now are all for fishing. So
fishing. Hey.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever won a trophy for that one. I don't have many trophies actually. I think we melted most of them because they weren't very useful. We had better things to do with them. Keep warm.
Can you just melt trophies down?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Everybody's got an incinerator of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thing to do.
Smelter, something.
Yeah.
Heat things down like a gold bar. When you get desperate.
Well, that plastic it does all kinds of crazy things in those. So you just watch it for a while, mesmerize you like a lava lamp,
I can't even.
God.
You got me. I'm sorry.
Hey, I had to stump somebody at the end. That's the sort of. But okay. Anyway, we are about down to our last 3 minutes, and I always try to give this over to our main guest. So, Chad, I wanted to give you a minute to talk about your hot shot, where we can find you, how we can look you up. If you're going to keep us in the loop about having one next year, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. So,
yeah, for sure. There's of course a website, hotshottournament.com. We usually keep everything up to date by the beginning of the year. We won't update it until probably January this next year. It's not really relevant yet, but by the time the new year rolls around, we'll update everybody on the dates. The purpose and cause won't change, and we always have it out at the Ridge out in West Valley, cleared up by the USANA amphitheater. And so look on that site if you want to find out more information or reach out. I don't know who on the podcast might be interested in golf, but I would love to have anybody that's welcome.
Maybe we'll have to put together a Karma team for the next one. Who knows?
That'd be phenomenal. That would be a first. I would love it. That'd be awesome. So thanks for having me. Obviously, whatever enjoyment you found from the podcast, I'm really grateful you had me out here, Jake. Thank you so much for the invite. And I had a blast, an absolute blast. And I laughed so hard, and everybody was so great to work with. And
well, dude, that's the whole point. And I hope that you'll want to join us again in the future, because we'd love to talk to you some more about all the kind of stuff that you guys do. So
cool.
Yeah, I would definitely love to hear more about it. So we'll have to be sure to have you back.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Wonderful. All right, guys. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap up our Karmic Transmission number 15. Chad Milton on with our special guest. For those of you that are joining us, be sure to check us out. Again, hotshottournament.com, right, Chad, is where they can find you. For us here at Karma Incarnate, you can find us at karmaincarnate.com, on Facebook, YouTube, at Karma Incarnate. You can find us on Twitter at the Karmic Feed. Ayame, you can find on Twitter at AyameXGoddess. You can also find the audio recording of our broadcast tonight on SoundCloud, and the full video will be up on YouTube shortly. So I don't think I missed anything. Ayame, did I miss anything?
I am genuinely impressed. That was top notch. You've been practicing.
Right there.
Ah.
It's not just used for holding up hats. What can I say?
All right. Well, we will see you guys later. Thank you so much.
All
See
right.
you. Nice meeting you, Chad.
Love the hell out of you guys.
Nice to meet you, Clint.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
See you
Abby. Thanks for having me.
Guys.
Bye-bye.